Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. Matching the Milwaukee Brewers and the California Angels. And brought to you by Chevrolet, who invite you to take charge of the new Chevrolet car or truck at your Chevrolet dealers now. And by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. Game number 1 of 1982 taking place at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. And we are now ready to begin our pregame ceremonies, and we will begin right now with the public address announcer, Judge Phil Petty.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Anaheim Stadium, the home of the Angels. And this evening's opening game in the championship series of the American League between the Milwaukee Brewers and your California Angels. If you will turn to the center of your scorebook, we'll give you the starting lineups for tonight's game. Introducing the lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. First, the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers, number 32, Harvey Keene. Leading off, number 4, third baseman, Paul Molitor. Batting second, number 19, shortstop, Robin Yount. Batting third, number 15, first baseman, Cecil Cooper. Batting fourth, number 23, the catcher, Ted Simmons. Batting fifth, number 20, center fielder, Gorman Thomas. Batting sixth, number 24, left fielder, Ben Ogilvie. Batting seventh, number 7, designated hitter, Don Money. Batting eighth, number 22, right fielder, Charlie Moore. Batting ninth, number 17, second baseman, Jim Gantner. The starting pitcher, warming up in the bullpen, number 48, Mike Caldwell. Ladies and gentlemen, the remainder of the Milwaukee Brewers, their coaches and staff. Introducing the lineup for your California Angels. First, the manager of the Angels, number 3, Gene Mauch. Leading off, number 5, left fielder, Brian Downing. Batting second, number 11, third baseman, Doug DeCinces. Batting third, number 4, second baseman, Bobby Grich. Batting fourth, number 25, designated hitter, Don Baylor. Batting fifth, number 44, right fielder, Reggie Jackson. Batting sixth, number 19, center fielder, Fred Lynn. Batting seventh, number 29, first baseman, Rod Carew. Batting eighth, number 10, shortstop, Tim Foley. Batting ninth, number 8, the catcher, Bob Boone. Warming up in the bullpen, the starting pitcher, number 35, Tommy John. Ladies and gentlemen, the remainder of the California Angels, their coaches and staff. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the national anthem to be sung by the Lettermen.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, the pregame ceremonies are about done. And we'll have the ceremonial first pitch in just a moment as we get ready for game number 1.
We are USA 1. And number 1 is taking charge in high-technology transportation. With new generation Chevrolets like Celebrity. Taking charge in production techniques. With the new high-compression electronic fuel-injected Cavalier. And taking over the streets with the electrifying Camaro. Chevrolet, America's sales leader, is taking it all to the limit. USA 1 is taking charge.
Some airlines don't let you know where you'll be sitting until you get on the plane.
Can we switch seats?
But on American Airlines,
you can select your seat when you make your reservation, so you know where you'll be sitting even before you get to the airport.
There must be some mistake, boss. Our seats aren't together. No mistake, Fletcher. Hey, boss.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Well, this stadium turf, like the turf we saw on Sunday, at least some of us did, in Baltimore, is immaculate because, for the simple reason, there have not been any football games played on it lately because of the NFL strike. It is a very quick infield. The ball scoots across it, and in many instances, like the rug, the artificial surface. You're looking at Bill Rigney. Bill was the original manager of the Angels, the ceremonial first pitch. In 1961, they started it. 1962, they went 86 and 76 and were the talk of the baseball world under Rig. And what a nice man. He still is with the ball club, living up in the Bay Area of California. The umpires and the managers are having their conference now, going over the final details of the ground rules in Anaheim Stadium, and the umpires for the ball game back at the plate will be Larry Barnett, Bill Kunkel at first base, Rich Garcia at second, Steve Palermo at third, down the line in left, Don Denkinger, down the line in right, Al Clark. The pitchers have concluded their warm-ups and have made their way toward the dugouts. There's Tommy John right there walking into the California dugout. The veteran left-hander coming over from the New York Yankees. He is 40 years of age. But as we have noted in a couple of instances recently, there are several gentlemen with gray at the temples who are doing so very well pitching baseballs these days in Major League. And now the California Angels taking the field. And this is a veteran ball club. Let's set the defense for you now. Rod Carew will start at first base. Rod Carew, 36 years of age. Over at second base for California is a man who used to work for Earl Weaver, Bobby Grich. And Bobby Grich is 33 years of age. What about this guy? He's a battler, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And when he came to the big leagues, he was as quick as any second baseman that I had seen, and he's got as good a pair of hands as any second baseman I've ever seen.
Moving over to the shortstop spot, Tim Foley, a young man who came over from the Pittsburgh Pirates to Dean Orchard's ball club, and he has done very well, and he's been worth his weight in gold after Rich Burleson got hurt with a rotator injury. Down at third base, another guy used to play for Earl Weaver, Doug DeSensei. What about this fella?
Well, he had a tremendous year. We saw him have a half a season in 1978 like he had just now. Jim Palmer will tell us about that one later because it was phenomenal.
Why in the world did you let him go?
Well, we'll need a little bit more time.
All right. Looking out into left field, it's a catcher who made himself into a fine outfielder and hitter, Brian Downing, and he has been superb this year for California. Moving over to center fielder, it is another all-star who came from another club. Freddie Lynn came here from the Boston Red Sox. He has been hurt much of the time that he has been in California, but over the last half of the season this year has been very strong. And over in right field, Mr. October. You know where he came from, I am sure. Came from the Yankees, and he has had a year that, well, you just can hardly imagine. 101 runs batted in, but more than that, it's been a happy year for him. Now, looking behind the plate for California, and a guy who has thrown out more than 50% of those who try to run on him, Bob Boone, and another fellow who came from all-star status with the Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, one of the reasons that Bob Boone has been so successful throwing out people on the base paths, the California pitching staff. They are veterans out there, and they just don't let you get the big jump. And here's the man getting the starting assignment for California, Tommy John. His record on the year, 14 and 12, and he came over from the Yankees and says he is very happy to be here. So let's get a comment from Jim Palmer now on Tommy John.
Well, he's the type of pitcher, as I said before, that is going to try to keep the ball down in the strike zone. The problems he's going to have is getting the ball up. In Yankee Stadium, where he played for the last 3 or 4 years, you can throw those long fly balls out there in center field, left field. Here it's a little bit more difficult, and Tommy's the type of guy, if you're going to get him, you got to get him in early in the ball game, and he's had some problems in not the first inning, but in the second and third innings.
Pitching now to Paul Molitor. A 3-0-2 hitter, the top of the order. Molitor, a notorious first ball hitter, but he didn't go after that one. Taking ball one because it was out of the strike zone. Growing more selective, I think, as the longer he plays. Fouls that one away at the plate, and you're even at 1-1.
Well, he's a very aggressive hitter, like you said. He, I think, was up over 600 times, 666 times, only walked 69 times, so obviously he goes up there swinging the bat.
DeSensei at third, right on the line. Throws out Molitor for the first out of the ball game.
They got him to swing at a breaking ball, and a good breaking ball, it looked like to me.
Earl Weaver and Jim Palmer working with us tonight. And for the rest of the week, as we work our way through the American League Championship Series for 1982. And here is a remarkable story for this season. Robin Yount, who grew up out in the San Fernando Valley, just a little ways away from where Doug DeCinces grew up, came out of Taft High School. And he has had a year that you write books about. And the first pitch is a strike. Strike two.
And there you saw a breaking ball. The first three pitches to Molitor were breaking balls. It looks like Tommy has control of his breaking ball. It's, as I said before, it's not exactly a curveball. It's somewhere in between. It's not real slow and it's not real hard. We call it a kind of a slurve in between a slider and a curveball.
Roller to the shortstop. Good bounce for Foley. Whips it over and gets the speedy Yount coming down the line. 2 down for Milwaukee in the top of the first inning. And coming up now, one of the dangerous men. Unusual power from an unusual stance, or I might even say uncommon power, because he does generate tremendous bat velocity. Cecil Cooper.
In our series, it seemed to me that Cooper was looking for a certain pitch to hit when he come off of the bench. It would either be the fastball or the curveball. If it's not the pitch that he wanted in our series, he just stood there and took it.
With 2 down, Tommy John comes with a breaking pitch that misses. Ball 1. Stadium not quite filled as yet. I suspect there's a pretty good sized parking lot on Santa Ana Freeway. It's low. Ball 2. The happiest man in this town, in this region, perhaps in this country right now, has to be 75-year-old Gene Autry, the singing cowboy. Tipped off the glove of Tommy John. Picked up by Gritch over to first. And Tommy John gets the Milwaukee Brewers in order in the top of the first inning. And Sally John joins those applauding the effort of Tommy. So, Brewers don't score, and California sends up Downing, DeCinces, and Gritch.
For nearly 75.
The Milwaukee Brewers defense now. Cecil Cooper at first base, and he is a good one. Made 3 big defensive plays Sunday against Baltimore in the decider. Moving over to second base, Jim Gantner, who has a pulled rib cage muscle, and it bothers him really only when he is swinging the bat. He's a scrapper, and he's in there. And here's Robin Yount, the shortstop. And Earl Weaver, he has been something, hasn't he?
It's been a fantastic year, and he capped it off with 2 home runs the first 2 times against us Sunday. He's continued to improve each and every year. He's in the big leagues, and I just don't think there can be any more improvement after this year.
He says he can. Moving down to third base, Paul Molitor, who is learning to be a good third baseman. He's played about 3 different positions for Milwaukee. Out in left field, Ben Ogilvie. Ben made a catch on Sunday, sliding into the corner against Baltimore that might have been the game saver. Into center field, Gorman Thomas. All the noise about Gorman Thomas as a hitter, but he is a fine defensive ball player as well. And over in right field, like Downing of California, this fellow, Charlie Moore, came up as a catcher. Fellow from Alabama. He has made himself into a good, solid right fielder, and he has a gun for an arm. Ted Simmons, the catcher, came to the Brewers from the St. Louis Cardinals and has been very efficient and particularly strong offensively. And here's Mike Caldwell, the veteran left-hander, Jim.
Well, as we said in the pregame show, he has not pitched well the last 2 times out. I talked to him before the game. He said, you know, no reason to get nervous. Nervous was pitching on Friday night trying to get into the playoffs. But he said the problem he's had with California is had big innings. And I think that's the one thing that both pitchers are going to have to try to stay away from. Those 2 and 3 4-run innings, because they put you right out of the ball game.
First pitch of the ball game by Caldwell is bent in there for strike 1. Brian Downing, 28 home runs, 84 runs batted in, leading off for California. An unusual batting style, but he generates an awful lot of power. Caldwell goes outside to make it 1-1.
Well, it is an unusual stance, but when Brian Downing first came up to the major leagues, he was a dead pull hitter. I think this allows him to wait a little bit longer and also hit the ball to right field.
Like that.
Up the middle.
check swing, and he just looped it right over the head of Jim Gantner for the first base hit of the ball game. And excuse me, swing.
That's what a manager hates to see. Gene Mauch, I know, is happy because a manager wants to see his pitcher get the ball over the plate and get in the dugout as quick as you can so you get to hit.
You saw Downing standing at first base laughing about it, but he'll take it too, won't he?
Yes, sir, and that's the way you win ball games.
Now it's the Sensei. It's the first time that he has hit 300 plus. It's a career high for him in both home runs and runs batted in. And he came over in the trade for Dan Ford. He came out of Monroe High School out in the San Fernando Valley. And Caldwell from the stretch. The Sensei takes a rip at it and fouls it back to the screen.
That pitch might have been in the danger zone. I think Doug is one of the best high ball hitters in the American League.
Very even personality, seems to me. He doesn't seem to go up and down much.
No, he doesn't.
Just inside. One ball and one strike.
And there you saw the overhand fastball. Caldwell throws two kind of fastballs. I was talking to Larry Haney, the bullpen coach, and he said his biggest problem is he tries to throw hard. If he throws over 84 miles per hour, he's throwing too hard. But he does throw two, and that was a fastball that he tries to ride up and in on the right-handed hitters.
That's punched down the right field line. Foul. If it's fair, Charlie Moore would have had to really hustle to keep Brian Downing from coming all the way around.
I believe that. Downing, when the ball landed foul, was in between second and third, and I, from the dugout, didn't know that he moved that fast, tell you the truth.
Well, you talked about, and here you see it's going to be a fastball out over the plate, and it's actually a breaking ball, and he just goes the other way. When Doug is hitting well, he hits the ball to all parts of the field. One of the better streak hitters in the game. As in August, he had 12 home runs.
That's right. I think he's done that better this year than he ever did it over there. He was more of a pull hitter when he was with us.
Well, you can see by his stance, he's off the plate, which is the Charlie Lau theory, which allows you to wait a little bit longer.
Flag down by the pitcher. Caldwell throws wildly at second base, and Gantner can't hang on. Caldwell hurrying his throw a little bit, and he threw it wide, and Gantner just didn't have enough reach to come back and get it.
Well, that bothers him on the left side of his body, and here you'll see he has to reach out. It's not a very good throw. It's something that you practice in spring training every day of the year, and it's just not executed very well.
He looked like he got himself set to me, though, Jim. He had his hands together. He took his time. You really want to make sure of one in that situation, though. There's a big inning set
when it was done. He knew he had made the mistake. So Mike has himself to blame here for this circumstance, this pickle that he's in. And he is in a bit of a pickle because Downing is at second base, the Sensei is at first base, and Bobby Grich is at the plate.
I think Harvey Keene might be saying now, just get us out of here with two and let us go from there.
The pitch to Grich. On the corner. Good pitch for a strike. When you say gamer, Earl Weaver, there are certain players that come to mind, and among the current population of the ball clubs around the major leagues, this guy, Grich, comes to mind to me.
A couple of the things I want to tell the fans that Bobby does on the field that you might see in the playoffs. It would be, he'll put his knee in front of those spikes at second base to keep a runner from coming in. And should he be caught in a rundown, or he sees he's going to be out on a throw from the outfield, he'll try to get hit with the throw, even if it's in the head. He'll take it in the body, he'll take it on the shoulder, and he'll take it on the head. Anything not to make an out, or to get an out.
The 1-1 pitch from Mike Caldwell. Big swing. And it's 1-2. The opening game of the 1982 American League Championship Series, live from Anaheim here on ABC. Nobody out for California. Brian Downing single. An excuse me swing. He's at second base. Doug DeCinces at first on a fielder's choice. A throwing error on the Milwaukee pitcher. Mike Caldwell giving Downing life. Bouncing pitch bounces to the backstop, and they move up, and the troubles just continue to grow for Mike Caldwell.
I know if I was in the dugout now, I'd be saying, let's just get out of here with 2.
Take another look.
Bad pitch.
They just handcuffed Simmons.
Puts them in scoring position, and let's just get back in the dugout and let us take our turn at bat, is what I'd be saying. That's why I mentioned that Gene had to be so happy with John's control and, as Palmer said, getting the breaking ball over consistently. That certainly makes a manager feel good.
Wild pitch advancing the runners. And there is Mrs. Mike Caldwell. She's bearing some of the burden herself, I'm sure. Linda. A 2-2 count on Bobby Grich. Nobody out. Angels on second and third. And the pitch is low. Full count for Grich. Big problem right now for Milwaukee and for Caldwell to keep California from harvesting here and having the big inning.
Well, this is a situation, if you're a power pitcher, you'd like to strike somebody out, but Mike's not that type of pitcher. He just made a good pitch, and Bobby laid off, and it's what we said before. If you lay off a sinker baller's low pitch out of the strike zone, it makes it a lot more difficult for him to be successful.
Oh, boy, he threw him a dandy there, and he got him.
That's exactly where it had to be thrown. It was right in on Bobby's hand. It's going to break right in on Bobby's hand. Right in there, and not a bad pitch.
That's a telestrator that we've given Earl Weaver to play with this week. He'll have some fun to even more graphically define certain plays in the ball game. All right, here is Don Baylor, a pull hitter. Jumps on the first pitch and hits it high in the air out into right center field. It is playable for Gorman Thomas. Brian Downing tags at third. He's coming to the plate. And DeCinces tags at second and moves over to third, and Baylor gets the run batted in 2 away. Don Baylor, who led the American League in game-winning hits this year, just knocks in a run, and California has the lead 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. And here's Reggie.
Could be the name of a new talk show. Here's Reggie, especially in October.
When you play either one of these teams, you never get out of trouble, whether there's anybody on base or not.
That's right.
Well, that's a comment I made after the game on Sunday. I threw 3 solo home runs. Don Sutton kept getting out of jams. I never knew when I was in one.
That's right. It just banged one, then banged one, and strung it out. The pitch to Jackson is outside. Ball 1.
Well, I think Mike Caldwell will be pretty happy with runners in second and third if he could limit them to only 1 run, because he knows his club has the capabilities of coming back.
And that's exactly right.
Sharp shot. Gantner takes it at the belt buckle and throws out Jackson. And Mike Caldwell really dodged a bullet, a howitzer shell maybe, as he gets away with California scoring just 1. And that's where we are after 1-0. The Big A still not quite filled. They made some adjustments in recent years, making it a full bowl. And the Rams play their home games here, as well as the California Angels. Now, Tommy John on the mound will be pitching to Ted Simmons, the catcher, number 4 man, followed by Gorman Thomas and Ben Oglivie.
I really like the park more. Most people don't, but I like it more since they've enclosed it. And I know the ball jumps better now.
John DeSimmons, just inside for ball 1. Here's a look at the ballpark. Symmetrical, 362, over and left, 370, 386, straight away, 404. Shot to center, base hit by Simmons. So Ted Simmons is aboard, and up comes Gorman Thomas. Before the ball game, I asked Gorman what he expected to see tonight from Tommy John.
Well, primarily all he throws is a sinker. He'll throw an occasional slider. He'll throw an occasional spitball, if you want to call it that. But primarily he's a hard sinker ball thrower, and he keeps the ball away all the time. I'd say 98% of his pitches go where he wants them to go, and he's a very good pitcher.
Pre-game comments of Gorman Thomas, who with a wink in his eye and a twinkle in his soul dropped that word spitter.
Well, I don't know if Tommy throws a spitter, but he has been known to scuff the ball, which makes it run a lot more. I mean, the ball will just move. I mean, as Don Sutton said after being accused of doing that on last Sunday, he said it's real hard to throw straight.
You found that ball, didn't you?
Yeah, I figured that's the only chance I had to make him be honest. Play by the rules.
Barnett had thrown it to you, hadn't he? Larry Barnett gave it to you. Did he look at it?
He's one of the few umpires that does look at the ball after every inning when he's out on the bases. Of course, tonight he's behind the plate. And there's Don Sutton.
We figure to see him Friday. There's Thomas with a shot deep to left, way back. See you later. 2-1, Milwaukee.
And there you see Tommy John gesturing to see where the ball was. It looked like it was a low fastball. I'm sure we'll see it on the replay. But Gorman's a pretty good low ball hitter. In fact, he's been known to hit a lot of pitches.
Let's have a look at it now and get out our telestrator here with Earl Weaver.
It's going to wind up right in here, I think, the circle. There it is, a little bit higher than the mark showed on the television, but the pitch was down, and I don't like myself to pitch Gorman Thomas down, but it was a breaking ball. Gorman said in the interview that Tommy John keeps the ball away from him. This pitch was inside.
And he parked it. And the batter has been Oakley, and Milwaukee has jumped out to a 2-1 lead. Ogleby had 34 home runs this year himself. High bouncer. Tommy waits, throws him out. 1 out. And now Don Money. And according to Gorman Thomas, Don Money hits the same way he does, just with a little less power.
Well, he's an awfully good hitter, and he came over from the National League about 9 years ago. It didn't hit well over there, and he's been one of the toughest outs. Does not play against right-handed pitching very often anymore. But you got to get the ball inside, or you got to use your breaking ball. And there you saw Tommy John with the breaking ball to start him off.
That one moves inside. The count is 1-1.
We characterized him anyway. He'd be a good high ball hitter. Earl's, of course, seen him hit many home runs off the Baltimore pitching staff.
That's a foul ball. The coaches for the Milwaukee Brewers, Ron Hansen, the first base coach, and Harry Warner, the third base coach there. Ron's over at first. A 1-ball, 2-strike count with 1 out on Money. Charlie Moore. The number 8 man of the order is in the on-deck circle. That's foul.
Don's a good clutch hitter, and if I'm not mistaken, his home run ratio for times at bat was excellent this year, and might even be the best on the club.
Inside, Tommy John, in discussing his own particular pitching pattern, says he does not really consciously change speeds on a hitter that often, except he does work at the art of never throwing quite at the same speed successively. Well, you're right. 6th death ratio in the American League on Don Money. Breaking pitch is low inside. Full count, 3-2.
Jim, we never tried to pitch him in, did we?
Well, we way up and in, but Tommy John is not a high ball pitcher, and thing with Don Money, if you get the ball in, he's going to hit it foul most of the time.
Little looper to DeCinces. Just in foul ground at third for the second out. He sawed him off right on the hand.
Number 22, right fielder, Charlie Moore.
He got him right about here with a breaking ball. He got him right about in there with a little bit higher, right about it. Never quite got around on it. The ball wound up almost in the circle, but it got him on the hands.
Now Charlie Moore. Hitting just .254, but not a gimme. Getting tougher as the days go by. Pops him up. Third baseman DeCinces in on the grass. Makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Milwaukee Brewers jump out to a 2-1 lead as Gorman Thomas hits a 2-run home run.
Football Saturday on ABC.
To the bottom of the second inning we go now in game number 1 of the 1982 American League Championship Series. And it'll be Fred Lynn, Rod Carew, and Tim Foley, the 3 scheduled hitters for California. Fred Lynn is playing tonight with ribs that are not quite healed from a cracking. But he has erased, I think, forever those who once accused him of not being capable of playing hurt, because he has been playing hurt.
Well, he had a great July and August, and then, of course, he hurt his ribs early in September. Don Baylor was saying that they take so much abuse verbally from all the players here. They're so veteran players, they get on each other, that Freddie's played hurt and done it very well. He's had a fantastic year.
Mike Caldwell now, who seemed in so much trouble in the bottom of the first inning, wiggled off the hook, but only 1 run being scored, and now comes out in the bottom of the second, and he's leading 2-1. Base hit for Fred Lynn. Bobby Knopf, the first base coach, talking to him there. Bobby, a member of the Angels in his playing days. Preston Gomez, the third base coach, the man who relays the signals for manager Gene Mauch. And here is Rod Carew. Carew hitting tonight in the number 7 position. Too big on the ribby side, nor on the home run side, but always, it seems, above 300 in the average.
Well, the last 14 years.
Bunts it, and it's foul.
One of the best bunters in the American League, and when Rod Carew bunts, it's a double purpose. He can get the man over and still be able to beat the ball out and start a real big inning.
How do you pitch him? There's Gene Mauch, the California manager.
How do I pitch him? Well, at one point before this season, I think he was 23 for 46 lifetime. So I didn't pitch him very well, but he gets his hits. I think the biggest thing is to try to keep the runners off the base in front of him, because he's going to get his base hits. As we said, he's hit over 314 years in a row.
He's up the bat handle again. The pitch misses outside, 1-1. I think it was Dick Williams, when he was managing, said Carew, with all of his 20-odd different stances at home plate, depending on the circumstances of the game and the pitcher on the mound, it's like pitching to 5 different guys every night.
Well, he adjusts very well, and any hitter that can have the capabilities that he's had for all these years has to do that. But as Earl said about his bunting ability, you have to play him in because he has the ability to bunt with 2 strikes and will do that.
Molitor's about 4 feet in on the grass right now. If you don't get in there, even on a sacrifice, Rod Carew has a good chance of beating it out. The best way that we found to pitch him is slow, and slower. He's an outstanding fastball hitter, a good high fastball hitter, and that's what.
He puts it down again and again. That is foul.
I was going to say that's why he's had success against Palmer, because he can handle a high fastball.
I guess that's right, Earl. I don't know. I think he hits mostly they're down. But do you question this strategy? I mean, here we have a guy that's hit 314 years in a row. You have the situation where you have the first baseman on the bag. You can hit the ground ball through, and they're going to give up and out against a team that has explosive capabilities.
Well,
He's gone.
Gene Mock could say now, if he'd have got him over, we'd have had a man on second base. But I don't know if I'd want Rod Carew bunting, because I don't believe he grounds into that many double plays during the course of the season.
Strikes him out looking, and here is Tim Foley, the California shortstop, up for the first time tonight. You see his averages and totals for the season. And when he first came over to California from Pittsburgh, no one could have guessed how valuable he would be. And he came for a fellow named Brian Harper, who spent most of the season in Portland AAA ball and was then converted into an outfielder from a catching position. So it was a real bargain. Up the bat handle. Runner goes back to the mound. No chance at second. Throw to first. Get Foley there. Lynn's at second.
And they'll do that a lot with Foley at the plate.
Good contact man. Bob Boone now comes to the plate. Boney at 2.56 on the year. And has really done a whale of a job in what has been a difficult season for California pitching.
Well, he's a veteran catcher, and he knows the hitters. He's intelligent enough. In fact, Gene Mock said that the biggest, I guess, pleasure of managing this ball club is not only do they have good players, but they have intelligent ones. They understand the game. They want to win. They want to learn. They want to know. They come to him and tell him what they did wrong. He says it's a pleasure managing this kind of ball club.
When you go through a season where your pitching staff's getting hammered, though, and California had some periods like that this year, where seemingly some people couldn't get anybody out. Mooney turned out to be a heck of a salesman. He'd go out and sell that pitcher, and he just drills one to left field. Ogilvie comes in. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Great catch by Ogilvie. Took it right off the grass. That would have delivered the tying run for California, but Ogilvie comes up with his second great catch in as many games.
It's an outstanding play because he was off with the crack of the bat. He never lost a step, never took one step back.
And so the Angels are turned away, and after 2 complete innings, Milwaukee 2, California 1.
I'd like to keep that great GM feeling, Mr. Goodwrench, but how am I supposed to know when to do what?
Just watch your 75s.
75s?
Here, to help you keep that great GM feeling, your GM maintenance schedule calls for a checkup every 7,500 miles.
Looks complicated, Mr. Goodwrench.
It isn't. All you have to do is watch the top of the charts and your odometer. We take care of the rest.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Mr. Goodwrench makes it easy.
With genuine GM parts.
Not a week goes by that someone doesn't come up and ask me to sign a can of Pennzoil. I'm always happy to put my name on a Pennzoil can because I believe in what's in it. Engine protection you can trust. That's why people ask for Pennzoil. Now what I'm really waiting for is someone to come up and say, Arnie, I got this tractor I'd like you to sign.
Pennzoil, quality protection. Ask for it.
We'll open your eyes.
You may think a big TV picture means a big piece of furniture, but RCA is changing the shape of television. These new ColorTrack 2000s have a big 25-inch picture and include the slimmest cabinetry you can buy. With cable tuning, remote control, and our most advanced color technology. You may not believe them until you see them. ColorTrack 2000.
We'll open your eyes, RCA.
Excellence revealed when Atlanta and St. Louis begin their battle in the National League Championship Series tomorrow on ABC.
Well, here you see a fastball that Caldwell gets up. It's right down the middle. This is one of the many things that Earl Weaver taught me over the years, that you got 7 guys behind you, and here you'll see Ogilvie, who's improved every year. He's been an outfielder. Come right in and make a diving catch. Similar to the one he made in Baltimore, except the other ball was down the line and he had to go a lot farther for it.
But he saved a run here, just like he probably saved 2 on Sunday. It'll be Jim Gantner to lead off for Milwaukee in the top of the 3rd inning, followed by Paul Molitor and Robin Yount. DeCinces comes in at 3rd on the grass, as you see the venerable Harvey Keene, the amiable Harvey Keene. And a strike. Gantner looks back to Larry Barnett, who inquires to whether or not the pitch was in the strike zone, as he had checked his swing. There you see the defensive position of DeCinces. He's backed off the grass just a little now. Now he'll start creeping in. And sure enough, Gentner's up the bat handle to put it down, and he misses. For strike 2.
The whole Milwaukee lineup, not only will they hit the ball out of the ballpark, but they do bring the defense in because they'll all bunt. Even Gorman Thomas in the series we had last week in Baltimore faked a bunt.
Way outside. To recap for you briefly, Brian Downing got aboard on a excuse-me swing with a single. Then a throwing error by the pitcher Caldwell gave DeCinces life and Downing life at second base. Bobby Grich struck out, but then Don Baylor delivered the first run of the ball game as the runners have moved up on the wild pitch for a 1-0 California lead. Gorman Thomas a 2-run home run to put Milwaukee ahead 2-1. His home run coming after Ted Simmons at single to lead the top of the second inning. The count right now is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jim Gentner, the number 9 man in the order for Milwaukee. And that's foul. John to Gentner. High in the air, Carew over to John. And John wins the foot race. And now he's in a hand-holding circumstance with the umpire at first base, Bill Kunkel. Bill lucky that TJ didn't run right over the top of it.
Bill was a pitcher himself. He should know what position to get into. Bill's trying to get as close as he can to the play, but he knows that John's not going to run across that line, that he's going to come back into the playing area so that the runner and Tommy don't bump. And as a result, Kunkel had himself in bad position right there.
1 down. Second time around now for the top of the order, Paul Molitor. And John's inside with it for ball 1.
Also, when you get to be 40, you don't slow down quite as quickly.
I know that. Wait till you hit 50.
I thought it took him a while to get there, Jim, tell you the truth.
Yeah, he was. It was close.
Well, if I think there's one key to beating Tommy John, other than the fact of trying to get him to get the ball up in the strike zone, we had a lot of success, and I saw Detroit do it early in the year, which is to bunt on him, because he does not get around as quickly as he used to.
That's punched to the right side and punched into right field for a base hit. So Molitor's on, and here comes Robin Yount. And before the ball game, I talked briefly with Robin.
Shortstop.
Bob, having watched you since really you played at Taft High School, you've improved every single year. Can you get any better?
I really don't know, Keith. I hope to. At least that's what I'm going to strive to do. I don't know if I'll ever be satisfied with what I accomplish. You know, it's a funny game. We fail, at least as far as hitting, a lot more times than we do is succeed. So there's always an awful lot of room for improvement. So that's what I'm going to strive for.
That kind of an attitude, he just may improve.
He's a gentleman, and as long as he stays in that frame of mind, he has a chance to keep improving.
They pitch out, and Paul Molitor is not going.
Maybe they thought they had a sign there, but with Robin Yount at the plate, they hit and run against us.
Molitor has speed.
Well, he stole 41 bases, and Robin can run well, but doesn't run very often.
Big swing. 1-1.
I don't think we'll get to see as many hit and runs in this series as we might if there were 2 other clubs involved. But we will see some. There'll be some strategy.
Pitch is outside. That may be the first time in the whole ball game so far that Tom has gone outside.
Well, he doesn't seem to have command of his fastball away, and you know, the ball that Gorman hit was on the inner part of the plate. The ball that Molitor singled to right field was up and away, but it wasn't down where he'd like it.
Runner goes. Foul ball.
Robin Yount didn't care where the pitch was. If it was in, he was going to try to hit it out of the ballpark. If it was out, you can bet he'd go to right field, because he did that successfully against us in the series in Milwaukee and the series in Baltimore.
All right, Harvey Keene now passing the signal out to Harry Warner, the third base coach. Let's see if it's still on or if he's rubbed it.
Well, Tommy John does not have a great move. I mean, the fact that he's left-handed, he gets to look at the runner helps, but
he scrubbed it, and they take it low.
I think if there's any one area that Robin Miana's improved in, other than obviously hitting a lot more home runs, I think hitting 29 this year, the most he ever had before was, I think, somewhere in the high teens, was the pitches that he swings at home plate. On Sunday, I threw him 2 good sliders with a 1-ball, 2-strike count, and he just took them as if he knew they were balls, where a couple years ago he would have swung at them.
And that one was close.
That's foul, and Molitor was going.
Tommy John does not have a real good move to first base. You might not run with a left-hander with a real good move 3-2 with Yount up, but I think they should be running on most every 3-2 pitch as long as John is in the ballgame.
One out. Runners going again. Yount for the hold. Foley backhand loops it across. No chance. Carew throwing back to third, and Molitor is safe.
That was a close one.
Is out to talk to the third base umpire, Steve Palermo.
Well, I think, well, here you see Foley go way to his right. He makes a nice throw. Carew sees that the throw is not going to be in time, and he comes over towards third base, and I think you're going to see him get the ball stuck in his glove right there. A little bit of hesitation, and Molitor being very aggressive. Looks like he could have been out.
Could have.
Jim, that one depends on what dugout you're sitting in. I'll tell you, he tagged. He got him right on the shoulder. He's going to tag him on the left shoulder. Now we have to see if the hand is in or not, and that's what the umpire gets paid for.
Well, Steve Palermo's the umpire, and he is one of the best ones in the league.
On this angle, he looked out to me.
But Palermo only has one angle. There's a little looper out to the second baseman, over to first, and back. Get the man at second, but back to first, not in time. Cooper can move it, and the run scores. Cecil Cooper has better speed than one might think, and he hustles it out. They get Yount at second base.
He had to be running as hard as he could right from the minute he hit the ball to beat that ball out, because they executed well.
Certainly did. It is now 3-1 Milwaukee as Molitor scored from third base. And Cooper's on first. 2 down. Simmons takes a strike. Ted Simmons, first time single, and was on base when Gorman Thomas hit the home run down the line and left. That's a foul ball. Dave Golt warming up in the California bullpen.
Well, he's had some success since he came over here, and he's helped this California club out tremendously. Jim Palmer had a theory that over in the National League Park, that the ball carried so well there that he kind of lost his confidence, but regained it once he got over here.
I actually think that when he went over to the Dodgers, all of that money and all that pressure on him, and that was a new experience to him. National League was a new experience to him, and I really honestly think he might have been intimidated.
That's possible.
Well, I think the perfect example is Ted Simmons here. It's taken him about 1.5 years to kind of adapt to the American League, learn the pitchers, feel comfortable. Was an outstanding hitter for years in the National League, and it showed me this year and showed our ball club in Baltimore that not only can he hit from both sides of the plate, but he can do so with power. Probably a little bit stronger from the right side, even though every time I pitch against him he's batting left-handed. I think that he might hit a home run.
He was on an National League All-Star team that I managed against in Japan, and he had 10 of the best games that I've seen.
Ted Simmons. Earl Weaver and Jim Palmer are talking about 3-1 Milwaukee here in the top of the third inning against Tommy John. California Angels. 3-4, 1-2, 3-4. On the ground to Gritch. Bobbles it. Got to hurry. And gets in. Simmons not blessed with great speed going down the line, so Gritch can afford the bubble and throw him out. But Milwaukee gets one more. And after 2.5, the Brewers lead the Angels 3-1.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. America's hottest selling new size pickup, Chevy S10, is now available in 2 new models, S10 Maxi Cab and S10 Blazer. Taking charge with the Instatrack 4-wheel drive system. Shift from freewheeling 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive high and back at any speed. Try that with Datsun or Toyota. Chevy S10. There's never been a lineup of trucks like it before. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
I can turn your idle cash into working money.
I can make sure your interest or dividend checks automatically earn high money market fund rates instantly.
I can give you a combination investment account, checking account, and the American Express Gold Card.
It's the Shearson American Express Financial Management Account, and it can turn your idle cash into working money.
The Financial Management Account, only from the flagship of the financial world, Shearson American Express.
According to a Prestone survey, 7 out of 10 cars on the road have rust in their radiators. Of these, almost half could look this bad. Any radiator could get this bad after just 10,000 miles driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at the Prestone difference. Prestone, with its patented silicone silicate formula, forms a tough, protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Be safe. Put in a fresh fill of Prestone now. Deep inside, trust Prestone.
Coming up this Sunday and Monday on ABC, 2 great movies in their network television premieres. Sunday, following Matt Houston, Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz. Monday, Burt Reynolds, Joe Kleberg, and Candice Bergen, Starting Over. Both movies start 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and Mountain.
Left fielder, Brian Downing.
Top of the order for California in their second time around now against Mike Caldwell. It'll be Brian Downing, Doug DeCinces, and Bobby Grich. Downing has scored California's only run, getting aboard with a single in the first inning. Caldwell is low. First pitch.
I think what's so unusual about Brian Downing, very rarely, ever since you don't see too many leadoff hitters who have that kind of power. Come to think of it, I guess Bobby Bonds is one of the few, or Don Buford. I mean, here's a man that walked 86 times, hit 28 home runs, can hit the ball as well to right field as he can to left. Only struck out 50 sometimes.
That's what you call a leadoff hitter. 86 walks are good with that power, naturally.
2 balls and a strike. This was a fellow who just simply put up a weight training set in the backyard and went out in the backyard and made himself into a big, strong, tough hitter.
Well, he's an aggressive hitter, but now he's run the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. So now Caldwell's going to have to throw him his pitch instead of Caldwell's pitch.
He did. So he's the board.
I think this kind of illustrates what Gene Mauch said. He has intelligent, good players. I mean, they're pitched just a little bit out of the strike zone. Brian Downing's very content to go down to first base, hopefully to start a big inning.
And that's how you wound up getting enough pitches to hit 28 homers, too.
They call him the Little General. 22 years before he won something. Last time he was involved in champagne sipping was when he was playing infield to the old Los Angeles Angels in the Pacific Coast League. In 82, it tastes sweet, even though he's not much of a champagne man. First pitch, strike to DeCinces.
Well, that's what Larry Barnett called it, the umpire, but Doug didn't think it. Thought it was a little bit off the corner.
That one could have been a ball.
Leads at first. DeCinces looks it on the corner for 1-1. Fouled away. Which seem to me, now that they have enclosed this and made it into a bowl, Earl, that Weaver, the hitting background for the hitters, pretty good.
Yeah, they've got the backdrop out there. From the dugout,
that shot up the middle is going to fall in there for a base hit. It carries well to the outfield, and Downing is forced to hold at second base. The ball hung up there quite a long time, and Gorman Thomas actually got pretty close to it.
Well, it's not exactly the greatest 1-2 pitch you'd want to make. It was a high fastball, and DeCinces and Earl will show us on the telestrator that the ball is up in the strike zone.
The line doesn't seem to be moving here.
So now, with nobody out, you have Downing at second base, Doug DeCinces at first base for Bobby Grich.
Downing had taken off like he was going to go to third base, and the ball did hang up, Keith, and he got down about 8 or 10 steps from second and stopped a little bit, and rightly so, because Gorman did get closer to the ball than it looked like he would when it was hit.
Here in the bottom of the third inning, we have a circumstance similar to what we had in the bottom of the first inning, with Downing at second and DeCinces at first with Grich up. Grich struck out swinging back in the first inning.
I would think that he might be bunting here.
The Angels have had more sacrifices than anybody else in the major leagues this year, with 114. And the first pitch to Grich is a strike. He did not show bunt. To the hole, past Yount into left field, base hit. Downing turns third, throw through. He scores standing. A 3-2 ball game.
Gene might be figuring that he's got Caldwell on the ropes here. He's got the center of the lineup coming up.
Ball just eluding Robin Yount.
It's only 6 inches away from a double play, but that's baseball. They say it's a game of inches, and we saw it right as the ball went by Yount's glove.
Ogilvie had a strong throw, but no real chance at Downing. And here's Don Baylor. Baylor had a sacrifice fly, the first to knock in the run. Boy, is he a big guy.
I might get fooled here, but I think he'll let Baylor swing away with all the game-winning RBIs and power.
I would think so. Lays off the first pitch this time and takes it for ball one.
To comment on he's a big guy. We always marvel, even when he played for Baltimore, that if you wanted a perfect physique for baseball, you'd take a body like Don Baylor's.
Or football.
Ball is well hit to right center field. Gorman Thomas on his way. Can't get it. Ricochets off the wall. Here comes DeCinces. Here comes Grich. Baylor going to third, a triple. The Angels lead 4-3.
And that's why Donnie Baylor can be most valuable player. Pitch a little bit up in the strike zone, a line drive off at the 386 sign in right center, and flew around the bases. Just circled the bases, I guess, like any sprinter and good a runner as any runner in the American League.
Just missed getting out of here. You see the camera way up on the top of the stadium. One of our guys are hanging on up there, but he gave us an excellent angle and picture of what was almost a home run for Baylor. It is now a 4-3 ball game, and here's Reggie Jackson with Baylor at third base, and still nobody out. And you were certainly right, Earl Weaver, when you thought Gene Malk thought he had Mike Caldwell on the ropes.
Got him on the ropes. There's nobody out, and he's still got Jackson, Lynn, and Carew coming up right now. Oh, my goodness.
That's what Mike Caldwell's saying right now.
I don't see any movement in the Milwaukee pen as yet. Jackson hits the ball sharply to the second baseman, Gantner. Go to first to get him, but Don Baylor scores from third.
They had the infield back, and that shows that Harvey has confidence in his offense. It's early in the ball game, and it feels if he's only 2 down that they can strike back just as hard.
In this inning, the bottom of the 3rd for California for its 5-3 lead. Don Baylor is having a big night. He has knocked in 3. Freddie Lynn is up now. He singled his first time. Outside, ball 1.
Said in the 3 games that he pitched against the Angels this year, he got in trouble every time by having a big inning, and he hoped to stay out of it. Well, obviously he hasn't done that. And it all started with a walk.
Yep. Downing walk, DeCinces single, Rich single, Baylor triple, and Jackson bounced to the right side, scoring Baylor from 3rd. Lynn goes up the middle with it, and for the 2nd time goes up the middle tonight for the base hit.
They're having real good cuts off of Caldwell right now.
And that'll get some activity in the Milwaukee bullpen. Jim Slayton, right-hander. Slayton's record on the year as he heats up hurriedly for Milwaukee. Harvey Keene realizing that his veteran left-hander is getting pummeled around and is going to have to come out of there probably after 1 more.
I believe that Harvey is showing more confidence in his offense right now. Slayton's one of his better bullpen men, and he must feel that they're going to be able to come back.
Carew hits it up the middle, knocked down by Caldwell, throws to first to get Carew as Lynn goes to 2nd, 2 down.
Shortstop, Tim Foley.
Well, Rodney Carew, you don't hit 314 years in a row if you don't hit the ball up the middle, and he hits the ball right back at Caldwell, who is the 5th infielder, makes a nice play, not too graceful. And then you see the quick throw to first base for the 2nd out in this inning.
I'll bet you Caldwell thought that ball was hit harder than it was, Jimmy, because he reached and then reached the 2nd time.
Tim Foley now with Fred Lynn at 2nd base. Right.
Difficult thing a pitcher has to ascertain sometimes is how hard the ball's hit. Of course, if it's hit real hard, the most important thing is to get out of the way.
You don't have time, do you? When you get a bullet.
Well, there were a lot of questions this year whether the ball's a little bit more lively. And Buddy Bell hit a ball back at me in Texas early in the season, just a little bit right of my right knee, and I never had a chance to move. And I think you can almost tell that the ball maybe is a little bit more lively.
That's well struck. Shortstop Yount with it, loops it across the Cooper in time to get Tim Foley, but it is a big inning for California. The Angels jump on Mike Caldwell for 4 runs, and they lead after 3, 5-3.
Look what we've done with Ramada. We're filled with things that are new. Now we're classy, stylish, a special place, a delightful escape for you. Ramada, we've got a new world for you. And still priced right. Look what we've done with Ramada. Ramada, we've got a new world for you.
What's wrong with the computer?
Tape drive. The Army's most technical skills are also the ones most in demand. But now if you qualify, there's a way to reserve the skill you want up to 12 months before you go in. It's called the Delayed Entry Program, and it guarantees you the training you want.
Be all that you can be, 'cause we need you
Okay, it's up.
in the Army. Welcome to Miller time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time.
best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
Leading off for the Milwaukee Brewers at the top of the 4th inning, Gorman Thomas. This is what he did back in the 2nd inning against Tommy John. Pretty good pitch, but whack, gone. Just wasn't any doubt about it. Downing took a look and watched it settle in the seats. That gave Milwaukee the initial lead of 2-1. Now, the Angels have come back to lead 5-3. And one of the most important things in a baseball game, Earl Weaver, is once your team has come back to give you the lead, the most important thing in the world is to stop the other team that very next inning.
There's no doubt about that. That is without a doubt the truth, because then the California Angels will feel good coming back into the dugout. But John's got his work cut out for him, and especially with the hitters on the Milwaukee club. Jim Palmer might have had a point. We tried to go up with Gorman and keep him hitting the ball to center field or to right field. Tommy can't go up with the type of pitcher he is. He throws the sinker, and he's right down there in Gorman's power. So if he don't hit that outside corner, we might see another one.
It'll be Gorman Thomas, Ben Ogilvy, and Don Money for Milwaukee here in the top of the 4th. That's foul.
Well, I think Gorman said it best that Tommy throws 98%, I think he said, of the pitches where he wants to. And he's trying to go down and away with Gorman, because what you want to try to do is most power hitters like to get their arms extended. If you can keep the ball away far enough and low enough, it's hard to really get to that ball.
Just inside.
He went inside on that one.
Well, that was a slider, and I think Gorman Thomas came up as a guy, and Earl told the story, and here you'll see the slider. It comes in and just breaks a little bit in on Gorman. Even though he strikes out a lot, he did take that pitch.
He's got it in there where Gorman can't hit it any place but foul. If he stays there, he'll walk him naturally if Gorman lays off it.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem. When you come into an inning, you have a home run hitter leading off the inning. As Keith, as you said, you know, you'd like to go out there and shut these guys out and give your chance to score, your ball club to come in and score some more runs. You got to throw the power hitter strikes.
Stayed in the same place, and he's gone now to 3-1. Harvey Key
giving some sign. I think he's probably telling him to hit one out again. Can't believe they'd be taking in this situation.
I don't think so. They didn't take against us all year.
Outside on the corner and got one at now 3-2. Gorman may be wishing as he stands there adjusting his batting gloves, Lordy, I wish I'd have taken a whack at that one, because this guy's got the power to send it anywhere.
Well, that he does, but he primarily is a pull hitter.
I wonder if the fans know how much thinking goes on between the pitcher and the hitter.
High pop. Going to carry out into center field for Freddie Lynn.
I think he got that pitch up. I'm not sure.
Take a look at it, and it is up.
It's up. It's up. Now, a power pitcher can stay right there with Gorman Thomas a lot and keep him in the ballpark. I guess Tommy John hesitates to do that a little bit. He couldn't stay there pitch after pitch after pitch.
Now Ben Ogilvy, who tapped back to the pitcher his first time. And John sweeps it outside for ball 1. One away. California leading 5-3. Milwaukee hitting in the top of the 4th inning. Angels got 4 to the bottom of the 3rd. There's one. 1-1. And look down on the big A from our eye in the sky here. ABC camera floating around up above Anaheim Stadium. Pretty, isn't it? Been a pretty day. Up around 80 degrees.
Beautiful.
It couldn't have been better, and I see now that the stadium is almost full. It took them almost 4 innings to get in. And the funny thing about this, Keith, during the course of the regular season, to avoid that traffic, they'll leave about the 7th or 8th inning.
Ogilvy hits it in the air into short center, and Lynn has to come in to get That's his second put out of the inning. 2 down. Don Money will come up now and face Tommy John. You get itchy sitting up here? You getting itchy?
Not really, no. I see that Tommy John's got now has 2 straight fly balls to center field. He's always been known as a sinker pitcher, getting a lot of ground balls.
Comes inside, tight.
But he had 2 hitters at the plate that he had to pitch up.
Yep. Well, at least he had to change.
Well, you know, he went 3 and 2 on Thomas, and Gorman's probably looking for the ball down, and he got away with a high fastball. Ben Ogilvie is one of the better low ball hitters in the league, and he jammed him with a high fastball. Just wonder if he's trying to do it on purpose. I guess we'll find out a couple innings from now.
The one bad thing about Ogilvie, if he looks for that pitch up, he can hit it a long way.
Comes just inside to Money again to go 2 balls and no strikes. We're getting up in here in the top of the 4th, getting along to the area, Jim, the point you made earlier, that if you don't get him, he's going to get tougher to get.
Well, he's very strong through the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. There's no let-up with either of these lineups.
2 and 2. That was a dandy pitch. That thing just dropped.
Money has had leg problems. In a year or 2 ago, if the Sensei would have played Don Money that far back, Money would have put the ball on the ground and been standing on first base. But in our last series in Baltimore, Don was running very poorly.
Dug way back in the bag at 3rd and down the line. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tommy didn't like that ball.
Well, here you see the 3-2 sinker. It's the way I think he thinks it. He knows it's a ball because you can see the ball a little bit low. I think he was disappointed that he walked somebody.
Let it get away.
Exactly.
Came stomping down off the mound. That's the first walk John has issued in the ball game, and now he'll pitch to Charlie Moore. Charlie, right fielder.
We're to the part of that lineup where the manager feels that at least if his pitcher makes a mistake, it's not going to be flying out of the ballpark. However, Moore can hit the ball a long way, and he did hit one against us this year.
Basically, he's a situation hitter, though, and here, if you pitch him away, he's going to hit the ball to right field. I think one of the few times he ever tried to pull me was on Sunday, and I think he sensed that I wasn't throwing very well. Went up there trying to hit the ball to left field.
That's foul. Down past 3rd base. Count goes now 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm Keith Jackson. Our commentators, Earl Weaver has just stepped down as the manager of the Baltimore Orioles after 15 years. And to my right, Mr. Jim Palmer. A tall, angular right-hander. He's still got some playing and pitching to do.
Hopefully so.
I think we could look for Money to run
Punches it up
situation.
the middle. And Money will take a turn at second and hold on. And Charlie Moore is aboard with a single with 2 down. We'll get a look at Jim Yetner.
And I meant to say if his legs were all right, Money might have been running on a pitch or 2 before that, and it could have been turned into a run. He's going to have trouble scoring on a hard hit base.
Yes, he is.
Hard line drive base hit to any outfielder, I believe.
Jackson very strong in right and good throw in center. A very good throw in left and Downing. Roller toward first. Carew will do it.
Foul ball.
Foul ball off the foot. Isn't it funny when you get one little ache now? Jimmy's got a rib cage muscle that's full, sores the dickens. Now he's got to beat the thing down on his foot. Just get one little nibble after another, and the first thing your whole body is aching.
That can bother you. There's no doubt about it.
Here's the pitch. Watch the foul now. Come right down on his foot.
Well, Earl, you always had tiny feet. Imagine having size 14 shoes and hitting one down there like I did a couple of times when we used to hit.
Your feet that big?
Pardon?
Your feet that big?
Oh, yeah, they're huge. skinny, though.
Dave Goetz back up in the pen. Second time he's been up in the ball game for California.
It's 0-2. You're probably going to see a breaking ball here. Nope. Just a fastball off the inside corner.
Setup pitch. He might not have been trying to get it there either.
With 2 out, Don Money, who does not have much speed at second base, and Charlie Moore over at first. And the top of the order waiting. That's bounced down the line, and Carew goes across the bag to get it.
They were just out of that inning. That ball was a fair ball. It hit something on the second hop and bounced directly right. Now, you can't tell, or I can't tell after 35 years in the dugout, whether it had English on it or not. It's a fair ball till the second bounce. Fair and bounced directly right. That would have gotten California out the inning.
Gantner goes the other way. DeCinces over the bridge at second to get Moore coming down. And Tommy John and the Angels get out of the inning. So, in the middle of the fourth, it's California 5 and Milwaukee 3.
We are USA 1, taking charge with a shape that turns air into an engineering ally. Celebrity, so aerodynamic it uses less than 12 horsepower to cruise at 50 miles an hour. So efficient, its mileage estimates beat even some smaller, less roomy imports. The front-wheel drive Celebrity, a new generation Chevrolet. USA 1 is taking charge.
If you care about your pictures, you'll flip over Kodak paper. Because for a good look on the front, it helps to have Kodak paper on the back. Kodak paper. It's the only paper to flip over. So to help your pictures look their best, come to a store that cares enough to use Kodak paper.
And you'll flip.
Just ask for Kodak paper where you see this sign. And start flipping.
How did your muffler sound before you came to Kmart K-Care?
Rum, rum.
I don't know how a muffler sounds.
Sound like a motorcycle? It isn't. It's my car.
Quiet your noisemaker now with the Arrestor Plus at a net installed price of $18.88 after you receive a $5 mail-in rebate.
Let Kmart K-Care take care of you.
It was fixed.
Just smooth.
Undefeated #1 Washington in a key Pac-10 showdown with California, plus other regional games. Another reason to watch NCAA football Saturday on ABC.
The genial host for this opening game of the 1982 American League Championship Series, and he could not be happier. Gene Autry. Mrs. Autry sitting in the box with Commissioner Bowie Kuhn and his lady, Louisa. Not on the field. Mike Caldwell continues to work. Pitching now to Bob Boone, bottom of the order. And then the top of the order, Brian Downing and Doug DeCinces. The Angels jumped on Caldwell for 4 runs in the bottom of the third.
He really needs an easy inning here if he can get it.
Bang, bang, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mooney hit a line shot to left. Oakley made a great play on it for the third out back in the bottom of the second. Just off the corner. 2-2. Shot to left, base hit. He missed his location again, and Boone drills it.
Excuse me, Pete. As we said before, he's just not the type of pitcher that can get away with a belt-high pitch. And it's almost similar to the pitch that he lined to left the first time, a belt-high pitch right down the middle.
Harvey Keene on his way to the mound. California has had the leadoff hitter aboard in each of the innings we played, and we're now in the bottom of the fourth. And Harvey walking very slowly to the mound, pondering, thinking. Jim Slayton was warming in the Milwaukee pit.
I think he's given his pitcher a little time to get ready. Looks like he might be on his way.
It'll be Slayton making his 40th appearance of this year. His record reflected there, 10-6. So while we're waiting for the new Milwaukee pitcher, let's take this time out.
When our band's cooking, the music smokes. But not me, because like a lot of my friends, I use Skoal smokeless tobacco. I just take a pinch of that good-tasting wintergreen flavored Skoal between my cheek and gum, and it gives me real tobacco pleasure without ever lighting up. So when you want something that smokes, listen to the Charlie Daniels Band. But when you want real tobacco enjoyment without smoking, try Skoal. A pinch is all it takes. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Mr. Howie wants to be a do-it-yourselfer, but he's not sure how.
Help!
He came to Century Hardware for expert advice and quality name-brand products like DAP acrylic latex with silicone, $1.49 with coupon offer. A 7 1/4-inch circular saw, $54.44, less a $10 rebate from Black & Decker. A single-cylinder deadlock with free entry set from Kwikset, $14.49. Century Hardware. We're ready to help.
A very, very big message for grown-ups.
Do I look 20% smaller to you? I must to McDonald's. When I order a regular burger at McDonald's, they make it with 20% less meat than Burger King. Unbelievable. Luckily, I know a perfect way to show McDonald's how I feel. I go to Burger King.
Aren't you hungry for Burger King now?
Sunday, travel to New Zealand for a spectacular leap, to Holland for a hair-raising takeoff on Ripley's Believe It or Not. Then,
Nothing's real in Hollywood.
Houston's got an all-star cast of suspects when a movie star's comeback turns out to be poison.
That's pretty strong stuff.
Matt Houston. And
I may have found a way out of here.
a network television premiere.
What are our chances?
Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz.
The National League Championship Series begins tomorrow. The Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals from St. Louis. 5:03 Eastern Time tomorrow, and then tomorrow night at 8 Eastern Time, we'll be back for game number 2 between the Milwaukee Brewers and the California Angels. Mike Caldwell just couldn't hold him, and the book right now, 3.75, 1-2 on him. But of course, Bob Boone out on the bases is still the property of Mike Caldwell as Jim Slayton comes on to pitch for Milwaukee. Fastball, curve, change, slider. Not an overpowering pitcher himself. Hides the ball well when he delivers. He's very compact on the mound. And he, too, is something of a location pitcher. Got to get it in the right place. But perhaps, in fact, I'm quite sure that if you put a jugs gun on him, he is quicker than Caldwell.
Well, he throws much harder, and he has an excellent move to first base. I think another thing tonight that's very important, the umpire behind the plate, Larry Barnett, has what I would call a hitter's strike zone. He makes you throw strikes. You don't get the ball just off the plate. So he's going to have to throw strikes, and he has a good assortment of pitches.
Downing squares to bunt. Runner was not going as Simmons failed to hold the pitch.
I don't know what Gene will do now on 2-0, but he was after those killer runs. Once he gets you down, then he'll go after that run and make you get 2 to try to beat him.
2 balls and no strikes to Brian Downing with DeCinces on deck. Bob Boone on first base. Nobody out. Bottom of the 4th for the Angels. Downing going to bunt all the way, but took the pitch inside. 3 balls, no strikes. There's Gene Mauch making up his mind.
Well, it'll be off this pitch anyway.
Three and 1.
Now we might see some action.
Well, I just found it very unusual that they would pitch out with a pitcher that just came into the ball game 1-0. Yep. Usually it takes you a batter or 2 to get your feet on the ground. And
well, they must have thought they had a sign or 2, Jim. That's what I'm thinking.
3-1. Runner does not go. The pitch is lifted high in the air to right field. Charlie Moore makes the catch. And Boone holds at first base, 1 down.
Moore threw that ball well, and he threw 2 excellent throws in our series. Threw 2 runners out at home plate.
Yeah, he had a bullet on Gulliver on Sunday. Of course, Glenn kind of got caught dancing down the third base line, didn't he, when he ran through that stop sign? And
that hurt. We never know what would have happened.
Right.
Well, Jimmy went 3 balls and no strikes, and it wound up being a break for him, which very seldom is going to happen. They wound up getting a runner out without the man being advanced from first.
And DeCinces steps in for California. Big bounce to third baseman Molitor. It's off his glove into left field. Here goes Boone around second on to third.
That wasn't an easy play, but it's one that Molitor has got to come up with. Maybe circle it more, go back and make sure of just one. He played it like he was going after 2 all the way. You can see the ball short hopping here now, and that's not a real good infield. Comes up, goes over the top of his glove. I think if he'd have broke back a little bit, caught it on a second big hop, we'd only had a force at second, but there would be 2 out.
Bobby Grich. Molitor getting an error. And Grich looks at a breaking pitch high. Ball 1. Paul Molitor, who led the American League with 32 errors. But remember now, this young man played 3 different positions, and he's just learning his trade over there at third.
Well,
First full year ever.
We were talking about that on the bench the other day in Baltimore. If you looked out at him, and would you say the guy's a bad defensive player? And the answer is no. It's just there. That was more a mental mistake as it was physical. As Earl said, if he takes 1 step back, especially when your club's down, just get that 1 out at second base. Give your pitcher a chance to get out of the inning.
1-1 pitch. And Grich with a big swing for strike 2.
Well, at least in this situation, Jim Slayton has the capabilities of getting more strikeouts than Mike Caldwell. Caldwell, the reason he's out of the ball game is he got the ball up. He relies on the double play ball, which he wasn't able to throw tonight.
Boone at third, DeCinces at first. 1 out. And Grich got just stood up of it. All spinning out of the glove of Simmons, and the count is 1-2.
When I was sitting in the dugout, I hate to have watched strike 3 pop out of a catcher's glove. It always seems to mean disaster. So we'll wait and see what happens. You feel like you should have had that man out already. The catcher can't do a thing about it. It's no one's fault, but you're so close to getting that out. The big one that you need, especially.
Pitch out. At 1-2, they pitch out.
Well, that doesn't seem like a very intelligent call, because mainly they have to know that Doug has the pulled groin muscle.
Yep.
You would think they would know that he wouldn't be running unless they thought it was a hit and run. That might be something they do to stay away from a double play and allow them to score that run.
Two to Grich is high. Full count. Now that pitch out looks bigger.
Now I wonder if they'll run with the sore muscle. It really doesn't make any difference how far he travels now. As long as he gets a running start, a little start, it might be able to keep you out of the double play.
Don Baylor is waiting in the on-deck circle. He's already had a big night. He goes, and the pitch is low. And no question about it, DeCinces is gimpy. The moment he realized that it was ball 4, he pulled up and walked into second base.
Well, Doug said he didn't think that it would keep him from playing, but the kind of injury that could really become bothersome if he pulls it running too hard.
At home plate also. Sometimes you don't have your movement, the free movement that you want, and it'll keep you. But up to this point, Doug swung the bat good.
Harvey Keene may not have enjoyed this night all that much so far. California ahead, 5-3, and they're threatening to get some more now. With 1 out, Don Baylor is up there, and the bases are loaded. And a slider is high and tight for ball 1.
Slayton looks like he's overthrowing to me, Jim.
He's probably worried. Bases loaded. Donnie Baylor up, who's already got a sacrifice and a triple, almost about 6 inches from being a home run.
And 3 ribbies. can't see from where we're sitting the Milwaukee bullpen, but it looks like there's movement around out there again. Somebody walking around. I can't tell if they're warming up somebody. There's nobody warming up. Just a lot of folks pacing around. There's Bobby Grich at first. Doug DeCinces at second. Bob Boone's at third. Slayton coming on in relief of Mike Caldwell has thrown 13 pitches, and 10 of them have been out of the strike zone. Baylor breaks it and steps out. Angels getting one in the bottom of the first, 4 in the bottom of the third. Trying to get more. Baylor hits it to left. It's in there for a base hit. Ogilvie on a charge. Boone scores. DeCinces rounds third. He's coming to the plate. He scores. What a night for Baylor. 5 runs batted in. Big Don, first base.
Well, the situation a hitter loves, 2-0 pitch. Well, it's not that bad a pitch, but thigh high in the middle of the plate, which is kind of where Baylor likes the ball.
That's a bad pitch to Baylor. I watched him hit those pitches a long way off it.
That ties an American League Championship Series record for the most runs batted in a game. Paul Blair of Baltimore and Bob Robertson of Pittsburgh, 1969 and 71, respectively. And the bouncer to the shortstop, Robin Yount, or rather a line drive to the shortstop, Robin Yount. And you're going to need an extra statistician to take care of Don Baylor before this night is over, the way he's going. So the California Angels jump out to a big 7-3 lead at the end of 4.
A lesson in pitching from the pump by Vitalis. The curve, the palm ball, the fastball, the screwball, the sinker, the submarine, the knuckler, the forkball, the spitter, the slider, the knockdown.
The Pump by Vitalis, America's leading men's pump, gives your hair the control you want and a terrific natural look.
He's got every pitch in the book.
I'm under control.
This is the largest truck plane in the free world. Hi, Don. My name is Jim White. I'm the plant manager here. I chose Bell because I expect my communication system, and I mean voice and data, to be a tool that helps me do my job. The Bell people say, Jim, you don't have to know how to keep the system running. We'll do that for you. And they do. That's what I call service, and that's why we chose Bell.
The knowledge business.
Last year, I told you that in an independent test for Best Color Picture, the Sylvania Superset beat RCA, Zenith, and Sony.
You won't beat Sony again.
Well, this year, we again asked over 1,000 people which 19-inch TV had the best overall color picture. And more of them picked the Sylvania Superset over RCA and Zenith.
You didn't beat Sony again.
And over Sony, too. The Sylvania Superset.
All right, here's the pitch that brought on the inning-ending double play.
It's out there where Reggie can really handle the ball. We used to like to pitch Reggie in, but it's right here. And you'll see the pitch get right out there where Reggie can get his arms out. It's below the belt where Reggie likes it. He really hits it hard, but it winds up getting Milwaukee out of the inning. Bobby Grich thought it was in there all the way.
Robin Yount had him played perfectly, and you could see the force of it, even though it did not really appear that Reggie had all of it. He had sort of cued it toward Robin Yount. But the force of it, bending his hand back as he gloved it and then came on to step on the bag at second base to double Grich. So it's 7-3 California, as Milwaukee's Bombers will now step in from the top of the order. Paul Molitor against Tommy John, to be followed by Robin Yount and Cecil Cooper.
Excellent breaking ball on the outside half of the plate.
Well, it looks like that's what they're really trying to pitch to Molitor and to Yount. A lot of breaking balls. The one fastball that Molitor got tonight, he singled up the middle with. And I think Tommy John's aware of the fact that Milwaukee is not out of this game. We saw them in Baltimore too many times this year come back.
See Tommy fussing a little bit, missing his location with his pitches.
He don't want to get behind, and he knows it.
2 balls and a strike to Molitor. Puts it down, it's foul. DeCinces playing back well off the grass at third, and Molitor trying to dump it. And there's a young man who I bet you wishes he was working under better circumstances. He's a spectator tonight, Bert Jones, Rams quarterback who came over from Baltimore.
Used to be one of my neighbors. In fact, so did Doug DeCinces.
Tommy John has thrown 64 pitches in the game, 26 of them in the last inning. Got him. Good pitch inside. Molitor tried to hold, couldn't. First strikeout for TJ.
That was a prime example of a prime example of pitcher working in and out. He had everybody on the outside. All pitches were on the outside and got his strikeout right down in there. The ball bounced. He should have tagged him. I didn't see if he did or not.
You're getting pretty handy with that thing.
That was luck. But it's like anything else, Keith. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
That's right. Robin Yount. Single and 2 trips. Big high bouncer. Third baseman, Doug DeCinces, coming in behind Tommy John. John, being a left-hander, would have had to make a full turn to make the throw to first base. I don't think he would have gotten Yount, so DeCinces made the play.
Well, here you see Doug calling him off, and Rod Carew was saying that Tommy says, you know, I can handle the balls back to me, but you and Doug take everything else. It's a much easier play for the third baseman because he's coming across and has momentum going towards first base.
He did get off the mound, Jim, a lot of times. I've watched Tommy when the ball was hit on that side that he never made a move. Just watch the third baseman right on the dirt part of the mound.
Cecil Cooper. Ball 1. He hits it sharply in the gap, going to the wall. Jackson with it. And Coop pulls in standing at second base with a double. First hit of the night for Cecil Cooper.
Catcher, Ted Simmons.
And here you're
well, I think that one was right down the middle.
It was. It's similar to the home run that he hit the other day. Cecil really hangs in very well against left-handers. About the only left-hander I've ever seen really embarrass him is Mike Flanagan, who has a great sidearm curveball.
Flanagan's right. He can embarrass a lot of people.
That's true.
That pitch is low. Bob Boone off with the mask to chase it down.
This is going to be an exciting series.
Ted Simmons with a single and a run scored aboard when Gorman Thomas hit the home run. Cecil Cooper with 2 out at second base. Coop can move it.
It's only going to be exciting if you're a hitter, though, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right, Jim.
Or a fan. It's really like facing, you face California, Milwaukee, it's like facing an all-star team.
But if you come up with that good ball game, Jim, just think how much respect you'll demand.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had that on Sunday. It's funny, I didn't know this, but I had beaten the Brewers 7-2 twice this year, and if I had won on Sunday, I would have been the only pitcher to do it 3 times in 1 year. Which I guess tells you how difficult it is to beat that kind of ball club.
That's right. The odds were against us then.
Well, you should have started somebody else.
Here we go.
Ted Simmons at 2-1. Inside 3-1.
Just not a lot of places to pitch people like this. He's got the base open anyway.
Yeah, but he's got Gorman
Thomas coming up.
Well, you don't want to give him 2. I heard you say that many a time.
Well, I don't want to give him 3 either, though. So I think I'd be throwing him a strike right here.
Yeah, he did.
And with a breaking ball, which kind of tells you that Tommy has some confidence in that pitch.
Full count on Ted Simmons. 3-2. 2 out. Cooper at second base. California leading 7-3. Struck him out on a dandy pitch that snapped off down and inside to end the inning. So the Brewers strand Cooper. They've left 4 out there. And in the middle of the 5th, it is 7-3 California.
Sunday, travel to New Zealand for a spectacular leap, to Holland for a hair-raising takeoff. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Then, Houston's got an all-star cast of suspects when a movie star turns deadly.
That's pretty strong stuff.
Matt Houston.
Sunday. Columbia Pictures presents The Boat, the story of U-Boat 96, its young crew, and their captain, who must lead them on an impossible mission.
All set?
We'll creep in under cover of darkness. Right down the middle of the British forces.
The Boat, one of the most talked about films of the year, is now in English, rated R.
Starts Friday at selected theaters. Check newspapers.
Hi, I'm Reggie Jackson. You know, I surround myself with the finest in classic cars. After all, I collect them. I also surround myself with something extra special in car audio. Panasonic car stereo with ambient sound. Unlike ordinary stereo, Panasonic ambience virtually surrounds me. Like I'm in a concert seat, not just a bucket seat. So listen to Reggie and listen to Panasonic ambience. That's Reggie sound.
Available at Advanced Mobile Sound.
Jerry Dunphy here tonight on Eyewitness News. We'll have post-game interviews from the Angels locker room and, of course, the latest details on the Tylenol lace with strychnine found in Northern California. We'll do that at 11.
The ups and downs of the Dodgers tonight at 11.
You're looking live down on Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. And we're going to go to the bottom of the 5th inning for the California Angels. And coming up Saturday, NCAA football on ABC Sports. Going to bring you the Washington Huskies, ranked #1 in the country, against the California Golden Bears. We'll also have regional coverage of Iowa, Indiana, Southern Mississippi, Mississippi State, and Holy Cross Colgate at 3:30 Eastern Time this coming Saturday. Fred Lynn walks in now. The Washington Huskies under Don James stumbled some the last couple of weeks, have not been quite as dominating as I'm sure some people thought they might. But then Pittsburgh wasn't exactly dominating the other day against West Virginia, yet they won it. West Virginia came awfully close to grabbing a big one. Fred Lynn swings and fouls it away, and he's at a hole now, 0-2. Jim Slayton in relief as Dee Dee Lynn, the wife of Fred Lynn. They live out here in Orange County. That double play helping the Milwaukee cause considerably as California was trying to add some more, and Fred Lynn jerked that one foul. Well, he whistled it, didn't he?
Well, he's got a great swing, and it's amazing. He won 117 at-bats this year before he hit his first home run. And it seemed, in fact, I think against us, the first series in here, he hit a home run, and he kind of got in a hot streak. Everybody I asked, he just said he doesn't know why he all of a sudden started hitting well again, except that he looked a lot of films, saw that his hands were a little bit different, and made some adjustments. I mean, Earl has this theory on that all you do is throw him low inside fastballs, and you get him out. Except that's, again, one of those things that's a lot easier to talk about than to do, especially in Fenway Park or someplace like that where he used to play in.
High fly ball, deep right field, going and gone.
Well, that wasn't a low inside fastball, hanging curveball.
I think it was on the outside half of the plate. I think he tried to go in on that pitch that Lynn hit out foul, or hit down the right field line. All right, he gets it. The ball's going to break, be right in that area, right where he hit it, and a long way back. But he tried to get in with a fastball 2 pitches before.
Long, fluid swing. And when he gets it, it's gone. And it's 8-3 California now, with Rod Carew at the plate and a ball 1 count on him. Breaking pitch in.
There was the same curveball, but of course Rodney's not a home run hitter, but he can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
I think that pitch was a little lower.
Angels continue to get that leadoff man. Either in the case of Lynn, he was only briefly as he circled the bases. But the leadoff man in each of the 5 innings has been troublesome for Milwaukee pitching. Rod Carew strikes out. You don't see that very often.
Well, not especially twice in a ball game. Of course, he disputed the first strike.
Tim Foley. Tim Foley comes to the plate now.
I don't remember Carew hitting 7th off of us this year, Jim.
High pop-up. Way up in the air for the shortstop, Robin Young. 2 down.
Catcher, Bob Boone.
Bob Boone comes to the plate now. Give you an idea to amplify what we're talking about. Carew, 523 at bats. He struck out only 49 times. And Boone hits it toward the gap in right center, but Gorman Thomas goes to the warning track to haul it down for the 3rd out. So Fred Lynn leads the inning with a home run, and then Jim Slayton gets the next 3. So after 5, it's 8-3 California.
Here's 2 good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hi, guys.
Well, look who's back.
Must say something more.
Okay, Paul Bunyan. Let's go watch some of this burn.
You always work your guests this hard.
You got enough strength left to lift a Lowenbrow?
Lowenbrow? I'll use 2 hands.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
I know the work's pretty hard, but the pay is not bad.
We are USA 1, taking charge with the new Cavaliers, with a new high-compression electronic fuel-injected 2-liter engine, available 5-speed transmission, and a new lower price. It's powered by Chevrolet's determination to put Cavalier on top, and priced to keep it there. A full line of new Cavaliers from America's sales leader. USA 1 is taking charge.
You want something better, only food that's good and fresh. Wendy's does it better. For you, there's nothing less than Wendy's fresh ground beef. Hamburgers better you can't find. They're made and cooked and served up fresh. They're not the frozen kind. That's why you're Wendy's kind of people. You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
Excellence revealed when Atlanta and St. Louis begin their battle in the National League Championship Series tomorrow on ABC.
And we'll be here in Anaheim tomorrow night at 8 for game number 2 of the American League Championship Series between the Brewers and the Angels at 8 Eastern Time. Talking about that National League, you haven't had much chance to know what's going on over there except what you see in the standings, I suppose.
That's just about it. I know that the Cardinals did not hit many home runs. And
Can they run? Can they run?
Yes, that's what I've heard. And the Atlanta ball club is primarily a home run hitting ball club. But in the St. Louis Cardinal Park, it seems like they're going to be favorites.
For the Milwaukee Brewers now in the top of the 6th inning. Here come the muscle. Gorman Thomas, then Ogilvy, and then Don Money. 3-6-2 the line for Milwaukee, and 8-9-0 for California. Brewers have stranded 4. Thomas with a 2-run home run in the ball game, and a fly ball to center field. Last inning, Tommy John got Gorman Thomas on a high fastball, and he lifted it to center. Goes outside with him. That is the 73rd pitch Tommy John has delivered. Corner and a strike. 1-1. Raleigh Fingers has made the walk across during the time between the innings and is now in the bullpen. Raleigh Fingers is in the bullpen, though not throwing. swing and a miss by Thomas. Wally Fingers could pitch. He's been throwing. He's thrown all of his pitches except the slider.
I don't think they'd use him in this situation unless they got back in the ballgame. But he probably will test that arm out again tonight and throw easy to see how it feels.
Pitch is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Norman Thomas. Well, the people who have been working with him say over the last few days that muscle tear in the arm he's trying to recover from. Say his forkball has been a sight. He can't throw the slider. A 2-2 pitch to Thomas. Now back. The scheduled pitchers for tomorrow night are Vukovich for Milwaukee and Peason for California. And Vukovich, we know for a fact, has a tender shoulder.
Well, he really didn't look good in the 2 ball games that he pitched against us in our 7-game home-and-home series. But he's been an outstanding performer all year, and that is one of the reasons I understand that he might be given an extra day's rest. We really are not sure yet or not, but he's capable of coming back and turning this Angel club off if he's right.
They did win 3 ball games against him this year with a very ERA around, I guess, 235. So he's had a lot of success with him.
2-2 to Thomas after Boone and John have had a conversation. $64,406, the crowd. And Gorman Thomas was turned around talking to the umpire. He was distracted, I think, by something he had heard or something was bothering him. He was distracted as he stepped out and he went back in. John made a perfect pitch on the outside and got him looking.
Well, I think Gorman thinks this ball is high. Barnett, as we said, is making the pitcher throw the ball down tonight. And he just probably thought it was a little bit out of the strike zone.
Well, that's how Thomas told us that John always pitches him. And that was the perfect pitch on the outside.
And Oakley. And a strike to Ben.
And another perfect pitch.
We'll let this 40-year-old youngster get rolling. He'll get tougher and tougher. Just outside.
He's got something to work with now, and that gives you a feeling of confidence. If you make a mistake, you can say the heck with it. So you're not squeezing that ball on every pitch. You're letting it go like you normally would.
1-1 to Ogilvy. Bouncer, first baseman Carew over to John covering. Easily at first base, 2 down. It's 1977. Tommy John has done all right, hasn't he?
Certainly has.
Where's your name?
Oh, I took 3 years off before this season.
He didn't have a bad year this year, my man. Good year.
No, that was a nice year. Didn't end too well, but
I think he's still in it for the Cy Young.
I think so too. Foul ball. On money.
Will this be Carlton's 4th?
If he wins, I guess everybody seems to think that he's going to. What a fantastic year he's had.
Inside. Money. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John seems to really be moving the ball around now and hitting the spots he wants to hit.
One and 2. In case you're wondering how many wins Jim Palmer had during that period of time we just showed you from 1977, you had 89, Jim.
I was happy for each and every one of them, I'll tell you that.
I bet.
How'd you feel about the losses? Because we're not going to add
there
those
weren't
up.
that many. There
No,
weren't that many.
There were a number.
2-2 to Money. DeCinces at third. So Tommy John gets him in order in the top of the 6th inning after 5 1/2 in Anaheim. California 8, Milwaukee 3.
the umpire as Intellivision presents You Make the Call. On a third strike, catcher Ted Simmons of Milwaukee flips the ball to the umpire, but there were only 2 outs in the inning. Is the ball dead, or can the runners advance because the ball's in play? You make the call.
Here's an easy question for you. Which of these games is the closest thing to the real thing? A, Intellivision Major League Baseball. B, Atari Baseball. Here they are again, close up. A, Intellivision. B, Atari. If you thought A, Intellivision, you're absolutely correct. You see, I told you this question was easy.
If you said that when a ball accidentally touches an umpire, it's alive and in play, you were right. You made the call thanks to Intellivision.
I've got an unfair advantage over these guys. My looks? Are you kidding? I've got the Gillette Atra. They don't. It's got the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra's better than twin blade razors that don't pivot. See, they don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. I get a better shave. See? Close. Comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
So who said life was fair?
The attendance for tonight's ball game, as we mentioned, 64,406. That is a new American League championship record in a year in which baseball has enjoyed record attendance. And it remains one of the best buys in the sports entertainment market. Ryan Dowdy is up there, to be followed by Doug DeCinces and Bobby Grich in the California home half of the 6th inning. The Angels leading 8-3 over Milwaukee. Jim Slayton in relief of Mike Caldwell has done a good job.
Tommy John has done just what you said that he should do, Keith, and that was close the door after California got the lead. Right now, I know that California wants to put 1 or 2 more on the board and wrap this thing up if they can, the first game.
Hit to center for Gorman Thomas. Gorman makes the catch and went out.
Well, Jim Slayton also knows that that's what they want to do, and he's a fine pitcher. I think that he'd be starting in most ball clubs. I think with an injury to fingers, he's gotten a lot of work out of the bullpen, and he has the capabilities to shut down the Angels. It may be hard to believe that when the score is 8-3, that the club that's got to 3 is not out of the game, but that's true with Milwaukee. They can put a lot of runs on the board in a hurry.
DeCinces.
He's very effective against the ball. Slayton, I'm talking about, is very effective against a ball club like ours that does a lot of platooning, and he comes in, and we might have 9 right-handed hitters in the lineup, and he's going to give right-handed hitters some problems.
Over the top with it, but misses. 1-1. Over the top, and DeCinces pops it up. Foul ground, drifting toward the stands and into the stands.
I'd call that a hanging curveball, Jim. What did it look like? I think Doug just got a little too far out in front and tried to hold up just the least bit.
Well, it was similar to the pitch that Lynn hit, except that this pitch was a little bit more inside. Interesting thing about Jim Slayton is that, again, in baseball terminology, probably the worst injury a pitcher can have is a rotator cuff tear, and he had a minor one. I was talking to him today about it. He said he rested 2 months, did a strengthening program, and came back and has pitched very well for the Brewers.
Well, he certainly had DeCinces fishing on that one, didn't he?
Second baseman,
Christy DeCinces.
Bobby Grich.
As Doug walks back.
There's a little fellow who's just on the screen then that's going to be a Major League ball player. Timmy DeCinces hits from both sides of the plate, and he's got a beautiful swing.
Bobby Grich lines it toward the left field corner. Ogilvie on his horse, can't get it. Through to the wall, then started in, then had to go chase it. As the ball hung in there and carried Down one bounce to the wall, and Gritch has a double.
You can't say that Benji misplayed that ball. You can't say he misplayed it. His first few steps were in. He thought he had a chance to catch it, and then he saw that it was sinking fast, and he tried to recover and break over to the line, but the ball was hit hard, and it got by. If he'd have played it safe, if he would have went directly to the line, it would have been a single.
So Gritch is at second base for Don Baylor. 5 runs batted in tonight. That ties the championship series record of both the National and the American League. And the pitch from Slayton is good for a strike on the outside corner.
Capable as any ball player I know to getting so hot that he can carry a club in a 5-game series. At one time for us, he went 17 for 21 with power.
Good grief, that's a tear.
That was a tear.
It's great when he's on your team to be watching something like that.
Oh, my gosh, look what I found catch by Jim Slayton. As Baylor hit a bullet up the middle, Slayton threw up the glove to protect himself and wound up making the catch on the line drive.
And here you'll see a low breaking ball. It's away. It's far enough away that Don can't really fully extend his arms. And Slayton, of course, is not really prepared for the ball back, but it's kind of right at the glove. Otherwise, it's going to hit him right in the face.
That's right. So the Angels are turned away. Or rather, Tommy John comes bouncing out of the dugout and goes jogging toward the mound. So John up by 8-3, going out for the top of the 7th. Before the ball game, I talked to Tommy about several things, including this.
Tommy, I know you're a sinker-ball pitcher, but if ever in your whole life you had a time to keep the ball down, tonight's the night, isn't it?
Well, if I don't, it'll be a short night for me. That's for sure. Maybe in Yankee Stadium, you might get by with throwing the ball up where they can hit it 450. But in this ballpark and in County Stadium, they're both relatively small ballpark. They're hitters' parks, and you know, you have to be on your game, and I think that's one of the challenges pitching against the Brewers. What makes it fun? You know if you beat them, you have that inner glow that you've really pitched a fine ball game.
Pre-game comments from Tommy John, who's sitting right now on an 8-3 lead going into the 7th inning. He's been reasonably efficient with his pitching. He hasn't thrown all that many so far in the ball game. And over in the last inning, he was able to get Milwaukee in order. Only Cecil Cooper dented his armor in the 5th inning with a 2-out double. Oh, he's been growing stronger.
Those runs gave him confidence, I'm sure of that.
John will be pitching to Charlie Moore, Jim Gentner, and Paul Molitor, unless Harvey Keynes decides to make a change along the way here.
Right fielder, Charlie Moore.
It is getting late.
I was thinking about Fingers. Maybe he'd like to test him in an inning in a ball game like this, where the game might not be on the line. What do you think about that, Jim?
I would think he'd do it tomorrow night because they have an off day on Thursday. It would give him his arm a chance if they would happen to get out of the game tomorrow night or something like that. But going into the 2nd game, 1 game down, which could happen if they don't score some runs, I think they might want to save it for tomorrow night.
Pitch to Moore is hit sharply to left. Downing dancing around, finally gets a beat on it and makes the catch.
He's coming right after him now.
Well, we talked about the big lead, and it does allow you to relax, and you don't have to worry about that mistake. That ball was hit right on the nose. It was a belt-high fastball. As we said before the game, Tommy John does have a tendency to tire late in the ball game. He doesn't have to worry about that much now. The 1 home run or the 1 big hit is not going to beat him.
He's trying to save some pitches.
Gantner steps out. How do you feel about using fingers here? What would you do if you were your guy?
Well, I think we both have a point. Tomorrow you might be winning by a run or two and bring fingers in, and he might not be right and blow the ball game. That could happen. So it might be nice to test him and then see if he could come back on consecutive nights if you were there. But it's testy either way.
Up the middle, flagged by John. Well, what's good for Blues, good for White, I guess. Slayton got one that way, and now John gets one that way, though this one was not quite as testy as the one that Slayton blew.
No, it's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he fights it off the fist. Looks like he hit it right about the label. Tommy John, not knowing and not known for his fielding ability, looks like a gazelle there.
I was just going to ask you, was he that good, Jim?
Well, he is tonight, and that's all that matters.
That's called athletic ability. Paul Molitor, the top of the order. Makes it right in. Outside corner.
Yes, sir. He's coming right at him, and he's loose now. And they're good pitches.
Yep.
Wouldn't surprise me to see him go low and in with that slider or curveball, whatever he calls it. Right there. Got it a little too high, though. It was.
So for the second successive inning, Tommy John gets him in order.
You're looking at the two best reasons I take good care of my brakes. They're why I go to Midas on a regular basis. Midas inspects brakes the right way. They pull the wheel. If anything needs doing, I know it gets done right. Some people say I'm overly cautious, but I don't think so. I just feel better going to Midas.
Where nothing but the best is ever gonna do. Trust the Midas touch.
Bob and Sandy Davis needed 2 incomes to afford the home they wanted. Then tragedy struck.
Allstate update. Joint mortgage protection.
Sandy died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life's joint mortgage protection could have helped pay off their mortgage if either of them died for less than the price of 2 policies. But the Davises didn't have it. If you both work, talk to an Allstate agent. For life, home, and auto, put yourself in good hands.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Tonight, ABC News Nightline will focus on the deadly Tylenol scare. Ted Koppel talking live with the chairman of the company that makes Tylenol. Nightline immediately following your late local news. That is an incredible story. Peter Ladd is in for the Milwaukee Brewers with a record of 1-3. Coming on here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Mike Caldwell started. Jim Slayton followed. Did a pretty good job for them. And now it is Ladd. We're keeping an eye on the Milwaukee bullpen to see whether or not Raleigh Fingers does get up and test himself. Possibility that he might be tested in the ball game. Peter Linwood Ladd splitting the season between Vancouver and Milwaukee. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, Ladd threw the ball real hard against us when we saw him. I'd be interested to know what it was on the gun.
Well, he's going to get tested right here. Reggie Jackson, Fred Lynn, and Rod Carew. 3 left-handers. He gives him heat, and Jackson goes after it.
Well, the thing unusual about Pete Ladd is that, and you're seeing this more around at least the American League this year, is that he is coming in and pitching from the stretch even though there's not a runner on. And that's the stretch position where you have to pitch with the runners on first or second base.
Well, he has been used strictly in short relief with the ball club. And you can see right here that Reggie trails only Mickey Mantle in postseason home runs in his career. Of course, all those other people were just World Series home runs with the exception of Reg. That's foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know what that second pitch was.
Well, that's an overhand curveball he throws. You know, he has a slider and, as you said, a very good fastball, and then he throws this. It's almost like a blooper pitch. It's slow, but it can be effective if he gets it down in the strike zone.
1-2 pitch to Reggie.
Slider, I think.
Looked like a slider in at the belt. You could see Simmons from the camera angle moving in on Reggie.
Might have just been a fastball that sailed. It's hard to say.
Fred Lynn is Jeff Zahn. He's just getting in work. He will be the starting pitcher for California on Friday. Jeff Zahn, who has had a fine year. Jeff finally breaking through. Got over the hump of getting behind so consistently. Lynn hits a high fly ball that's drifting toward the corner and into the crowd out of play as Oakland is over to give it a look. Not a bad night for Freddie either. 2 singles and a home run.
Outstanding ball player.
Well, he had some great years in Fenway Park up in Boston before he came over to the Angels.
He used to hit that wall consistently, and when he left, I thought that might affect his average, but it hasn't.
There's your blooper pitch. Missed outside. 1 ball and a strike. 1 out. Angels leading the Brewers 8-3 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Peter Ladd's up high to make it 2-1.
In Fenway Park, he had that inside-out swing. I think he's changed that just a little bit here. That might have accounted for those home runs coming late.
Well, he did hit 28 home runs one year in Fenway Park. The year he hit 39.
Well, that just looks like a moving fastball, Jim. Could be a slider, but it's not breaking all that much.
Fred Lynn gave it his best effort. For the first time in the ball game, looked like the swing might have hurt the rib cage, where he has a cracked rib. Foul back. Out of play. That was that old inside-out swing right there.
Yes, it was.
Well, that wasn't by choice, though.
Yeah.
Just throw him.
I think he had it on him, huh? Fast.
Now all kinds of ties him up.
Yep. Palmer's right again. What happened is that ball got there in a hurry.
Youngster throws hard. There's the blooper, and he's got that one in close enough to tease Fred Lynn into a swing and a miss. Looked like a pumpkin. He'd just been way off of it.
He's mad at himself. He chased one way up out the strike zone. I think it was over his shoulders. He's going to hit it a long way. Look at the look on his face.
It was right up around the shoulder. So Peter Ladd has come in and struck out Reggie Jackson and Fred Lynn. Now let's see if he can handle Rod Carew. Carew in the ball game struck out looking, bounced back to the pitcher, and struck out swinging. He might be a little testy for the youngster. Marilyn Carew in the crowd tonight here in Anaheim. Pitches inside.
I don't think he's got any one particular spot he's trying to go in the strike zone. Do you, Jim?
I think he's just trying to throw the ball.
Get it over the plate.
Oh, but you can get away with that when you have good stuff. And as you said, he throws awfully hard.
Well, he's hit both up and out, high and in, low and away, and low and in already.
That's foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Carew.
It's a good arm we're looking at.
Big square fellow, big legs, strong. No swing. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not a bad outing for Peter Ladd. He comes in and he strikes out Reggie Jackson, Fred Lynn, and Rod Carew all swinging. 8-3 California. Back to 4 baseball after this word from our local station.
Sunday, Houston's got an all-star cast of suspects when a movie star's comeback turns deadly. Pretty strong stuff. Matt Houston. Ben.
I may have found a way out of here.
A network television premiere. What are our chances? Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz. Sunday.
Have you noticed lately when you go out for a meal, you feel like you're missing something?
Anything else, hon?
Then it's time to come to Coco's, a more appetizing environment.
I'm Nancy.
Serving a unique variety of deliciously prepared meals from Coco's extensive menu. Wine and beer for about what you'd expect to pay where you're eating now. So next time you go out to eat, enjoy it. Come to Coco's. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's a nice change of place.
If you've got small packages, big packages, and in-between packages that must get there tomorrow morning, you could be boxed in if you don't know the one company that delivers them all overnight. Not that one. And not that one. Only Emery AM schedules on-time delivery of virtually any size shipment to most of America the very next morning. For sure. It's the Emery Edge. Any size on time. For sure.
Jerry Dunphy here tonight on Eyewitness News. We'll talk with a Northern California man who inadvertently took Tylenol laced with strychnine in Oroville, plus Angels interviews right here at 11.
Put your eye on Herb Alpert.
Defensive change for the California Angels now as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Bobby Clark, a fine young defensive outfielder, replacing Reggie Jackson in right field. Reggie's out of the lineup now. And this is a move that Gene Malk has made several times during the course of the season. To get the speed and the sure glove. You know, one of the nice things, I guess, about playing baseball at 5:30 in the afternoon out here in the West, the whole family can come to the ballpark.
Yes, that's right. And isn't that a doubt?
Tommy John out there going to the 8th inning, trying to nail it down for one more inning. Now he has 4 strikeouts in the ball game, all 4 of them coming in innings 5, 6, and 7. He got Milwaukee in order in innings 6 and 7. Now he's working to Robin Yount, Cecil Cooper, and Ted Simmons.
He's back to the middle of the lineup. Now we'll see if he keeps coming at him. Yep, looks like he's going to.
Yount, relatively speaking, been pretty quiet against John tonight. He has a single. This inside at third. He went after that sinker and just beat it right down in the ground. 1 out.
First baseman, Cecil Cooper.
Now Cecil Cooper, who has doubled off John in the ball game. Only in the second inning was Milwaukee able to get the leadoff man aboard. That was Simmons, and Thomas followed him with a home run.
How much easier it becomes when you have that confidence and don't have to worry about every pitch.
Big swing by Coop. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lifted to center, short center, dropping in a hurry. Lynn on the run, makes the catch. 2 down. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball.
That showed what a good outfielder Freddie Lynn is. He was shading Cooper a little bit the other side of second base. Cooper hit more or less a broken bat, looping line driving to left. And Lynn was off with the crack of the bat. He was moving when we looked up and got there easily.
Ted Simmons to the right side. Base hit. So Ted goes the other way and gets his second hit of the night.
Center fielder.
Went after that third out right down the middle. Little breaking ball. Trying to get him to swing at the ball right now.
Now Gorman Thomas will test Tommy John.
I think he would get a little more careful right here. Don't mind giving up 1, but he wouldn't want to give him 2 and let him get back in the ball game if he can help it.
Inside and low. Coming up this Sunday and Monday on ABC. A couple of motion pictures you want to see. Network television premieres Sunday after Matt Houston, Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz. Monday, it'll be Burt Reynolds, Jill Clayburgh, and Candice Bergen starting over here on ABC. Sunday and Monday, and Thomas looks at a pitch that is on the inside corner, 1-1.
If we can get a shot at first base now, I haven't seen this too often. Look how he's holding him on the bag. Evidently, Carew doesn't like to play behind the runner. Have we seen that before, Jim?
No, normally you would play behind a runner, try to cut off that ball in the hole.
High to the right side for Bobby Clark. And Clark makes the catch to retire the side. So the Brewers chip away, get a single off Tommy John. But they can't move it around. And the score remains 8-3 Angels.
Hey, here it comes. Look, those honest eyes, that square jaw.
That dead raccoon.
I'll trade you this for your hot dog. You still take a great picture. Still? You know how I got this coat? It knocked over your garbage can.
He played football?
Well, he used to be a lot taller.
Now there's an honest face.
That's why he was acquitted.
If you don't have a sun camera, there's something left out of your life.
Mother wanted a picture of you.
Why?
We are USA 1, taking charge with a Chevrolet so versatile. It's part moving van, part school bus, part camper, and part sporty car. The front-wheel drive Chevy Citation, outselling every other front-wheel drive over the past 3 years combined. USA 1 is taking charge.
All right, maybe I wasn't the greatest player of all time, but fans, they forgive and forget. When I go in here, they'll be buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. You, Bob Uecker? Yeah, how you doing? These fans, I love them. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Well, can't keep the gang waiting. The fans are always joking.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Wow, they're having a good time in there.
Tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight. Good news, the dollar's getting stronger abroad. Bad news, it could mean fewer exports and more unemployment at home. Dan Courts explains why. ABC News, recognized by TV Guide as the most trusted television news organization.
The National League Championship Series gets underway at 3 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. The Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals from St. Louis are opening their 5-game playoff, best of 5. And we'll have game 2 here at Anaheim Stadium tomorrow night, 8 Eastern Time, between the Brewers and the Angels on ABC. And Dwight Bernard comes on now. He is the 4th of Milwaukee pitchers. Peter Ladd came in, worked an inning, did a good job. struck out Jackson, Lynn, and Carew, and now Bernard. With that kind of a record on his seasonal work, standing on the mound. He pitches to Tim Foley, Bob Boone, and Brian Downey. Starts him out with a breaking pitch for a strike. Kind of short-armed it up there.
Yes, he does. That was more or less a slider. Almost the same pitch. Got enough of it to deflect it.
Jimmy Gantner throws him out at second base for the first out. And here's Bob Boone.
Gantner seems to be moving all right defensively.
Oh, he said the only thing that would really bother him on him is the pivot at second base, because it's on the left side. When he opens up, he has some pain, but didn't seem to have any problem with anything other than that.
Bob Boone had his single in the fourth inning and scored one of the 2 runs the Angels put on the board in that inning. That's foul back.
Well, George Bamberger told me Gantner was one of those hard-nosed players, and I know he was hurting if he missed that last ball game against us Sunday.
George Bamberger, of course, as a pitcher just off the corner, is a man that worked with Earl Weaver in the Baltimore Orioles and Jim Palmer and for so many years. Then went over to Milwaukee as the manager, had a little heart trouble. Mooney, great play by Yount at shortstop as he flags down the line drive by Bob Boone, who robs him of the base hit, and you have 2 down. And then George, of course, came back as the manager of the New York Mets. And I'll bet you that old warhorse was growling this year.
Oh, he had some funny things in the paper.
You just see a hanging slider by Bernard. It's the 3rd time that Boone's hit the ball hard, and Robin Yount, of course, he had a great year at the bat, but he's also probably one of the best fielding shortstops in our league.
That was full extension right there. He had to have the jump at the right time and the arms out there at the right time.
Batter now, top of the order, Brian Downing. And Bernard's in with a strike. In case you didn't hear it, George Bamberger has agreed to come back for 1983.
Yeah, I'd like to see George do a lot better than they did this year.
So would he. I would see a lot of kids up there with the Mets next year. 2 balls and a strike.
I understand they're supposed to have some young pitchers, and if anybody can help young pitchers, George Bamberger can. Good young
high fly ball lifted out to the left side for Ben Ogilvy, and Benji makes the catch. So Bernard comes in and does a good job getting them in order, and we roll right along with California leading 8-3. Another defensive change by Gene Mork now as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Juan Beniquez goes into left field. You say defensive change, taking out a man, Brian Downing, who didn't make a single error all year. Well, Beniquez is a little faster, I suspect, and that's why he's out there.
He'd probably get to a few more.
Oh, and he has a great arm.
Tommy John's thrown 101 pitches up to here, but the big thing, he's only thrown 16 in the last 2 innings, so it proves that he's coming right after.
Tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight, economics editor Dan Kortz explains why the U.S. dollar is getting stronger abroad, meaning fewer exports and more unemployment at home. Watch World News Tonight. Check the time in your area here on ABC. Benji Ogilvy out there.
Looks like they're starting to throw things in the stands.
Well, they're sailing a few frisbees, bouncing a few beach balls. The game's been pretty quiet over the last few innings. Ogilvy, money, and more scheduled. And Tommy John gets a swinging foul ball strike on Ben Ogilvy. Boy, you don't think it wouldn't be a lift if he goes all the way, and it looks like he's got every chance in the world to do it. Going to run his record in the playoffs overall to 4-0.
I wonder if he'd feel like he'd need 3 days rest or 4. It'd be the difference of pitching the 4th game or the 5th game. I guess it would depend on what who was 2-1 at the time.
Well, Keeson's schedule tomorrow night, travel day Thursday, and then Friday's on his schedule. That's foul ball back, so he would probably get the call on Saturday. In Milwaukee. First 2 games are here at Anaheim. Take a day off to travel. And then the last 3, if necessary, will be played at County Stadium in Milwaukee. And all in the daytime.
Well, the Angels do not have a great road record. They're 41-40 on the year, so these games here are very important for them.
Vukovic is scheduled tomorrow night for Milwaukee.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Milwaukee had the best road record in the American League. I think we were second. The Orioles, I'm talking about.
1-2 pitch to Ogilvy. Got him. 5 strikeouts to Tommy John.
What was that one, Jim?
That was
Just
a
a
low-sinking fastball. I think the reason that he has a lot of strikeouts, number one, he's making some fine pitches. Most of them are on sliders. That's the first one on a fastball. But when you get behind, especially home running, hitting ball club like Milwaukee, they're going up there trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and they're going to be a little bit more of a free-swinging type club.
Don Money fouls it off. John now just 2 outs away from nailing it down for California in the opening game of the American League Championship Series.
5 strikeouts come since the 5th inning when they compiled their big lead. So
1-1.
That goes to show you what challenging them hitters can do sometimes.
Well, early in the year in John's a ball game that he gave up 200 runs, he retired 17 out of the last 18. So.
Money now at 2-1.
The only thing that would make him quit throwing strikes now would be fatigue.
Oh, he can smell it. He can taste it. Center field, Lynn turns on his horse, going back to the wall, bangs the wall, makes the catch. Freddie Lynn's well acquainted with that center field wall. He's hit it a number of times this year.
He gets an awfully good jump on the ball. He was off and running with it.
And this wall is, you know, padded, so he doesn't have to worry. When we first started playing here in Angel Stadium back in '66, the wall was hard wood.
That's sort of loose, too.
1.5 from the top.
Yep. What's the wall give now as he hits it?
Each and every step has to be perfect when an outfielder goes back there. He's I'd say 3 feet back into that cushion.
They need 1 out. And Charlie Moore is the man. Crowd coming up. And John hits the outside corner for a strike. They're hungry for one here. Low. 1-1. They drew 2,807,000 plus this year for a new American League attendance record. Foul ball. Left side.
I think he'll try to wrap it up with his favorite, and that would be the slider in under the hands.
One ball, 2-strike count on Charlie Moore.
He hit him with it.
Sure did. Down on the foot.
Tried to get too much on the pitch, Keith.
Yep. Charlie got up very gingerly, but now begins to run it off a little bit. You see the pitch here. He just twisted it a little more, too much. Dove right in there.
That's his favorite. He tries to get him down and in, and he tried to just get a little too much on it.
Now it's up to Jim Gantner to keep it alive. For Milwaukee. Top of the 9th inning and 2 out. And Gantner lifts a fly ball to left field for Juan Beniquez. And the Angels win it. Angels come out of the dugout, exchanging handshakes, and the crowd stands and cheers as California beats Milwaukee 8-3. With Tommy John getting the win, Mike Caldwell taking the loss, and Don Baylor, the offensive star of the game, 5 runs batted in. The line score for California, 8-10-0. Milwaukee, 3-7-2. We'll be back after this message and the word from our local station.